Alright, let's talk about the requirements for Dimodelo Architect before we install and start using the product. So the first thing that you will need to do is to download our sample databases, the Human Resources database and the Service database. We are going to use these two databases in this training, and therefore you will need to restore both databases in your SQL Server environment. Now, both databases backup was taken on a SQL Server 2016, and they are the ones you will have to download from our website if you are on a SQL Server 2016. But you might be using another SQL Server version, such as SQL Server 2008, 2012, or 2014. And therefore, if you try to restore the Human Resources and the Service database into a SQL Server 2014, as an example, that won't work as you know it. You can't restore a SQL Server 2016 backup on a SQL Server 2014, 2012, and so on. So what I decided to do is to script both databases out with objects and data so you can run the scripts to create both databases on a SQL Server 28, 2012, or 2014 if you are using one of the SQL Server versions. But if you are on a SQL Server 2016 just like me, then just download the backups instead of downloading the scripts from our website. Now, as you might have noticed, I'm using SQL Server 2016, more precisely the Developer Edition that is installed on my client. So everything I will show you in this Dimodelo training will be performed on my client, and the Dimodelo Architect will also be installed on my client. Now, the reason why I decided to do this training on my client, it is because I want to make things easier for you there. Because maybe you are not a SQL admin within the organization you are working for, and you may have SQL Server installed in one server and SSIS in another server, and you may have some permission issues there. But if you are a SQL admin across the board, then you should be just fine. Although I will suggest you to do this training on your client or server in which you have both SQL Server and SSIS installed in the same box, as well as SQL sysadmin permission, if you will. So as you just have heard, SSIS is required and it needs to be running because the Dimodelo Architect will automate and create all SSIS tasks for you behind the scenes on the fly, without the need of manual work. So in other words, you won't need to create and configure every single SSIS task because the Dimodelo Architect will do all for you. And we're going to talk more about it later on. Now, another requirement prior to install the Dimodelo Architect is Visual Studio 2015. The Dimodelo Architect now is a Visual Studio 2015 plugin, and you may already have it installed on your client or server. You will have to check that. But if you don't have it installed yet, then you will be able to download the Dimodelo Architect from our website with Visual Studio 2015 shell. And I'm going to show you all that in the coming video. Now, the last thing I want to mention here is that the Dimodelo Architect works alongside with SQL Server Data Tools 2015, allowing you to have a Dimodelo Architect project and SSIS project. You also will be able to work with the tabular model within the Dimodelo Architect. And you also can integrate the Dimodelo with Visual Studio Team Explorer using TFS, or Visual Studio Team Services for source control. Alright folks, that was just a quick overview of the requirements prior to install the product. So I will see you folks in the next video.